Here we are then, a big episode in the F124 My Team career mode. We arrive at Brazil. This one is a big one. We have a sprint, which means extra points up for grabs. Now guys, the previous episode at Mexico will be available in the top right. Go watch it. Spoiler warning ahead. Big spoiler warning. A lot happened. Championship implications, ramifications. So go check it out. Now for this one, we have to pick a rival. We lost our rivalry versus Sir Lewis Hamilton, so we have to try again. And of course, it's only logical. I want my rematch. I want my revenge. So there's only one person we're going to pick here, and it's Sir Lewis Hamilton. And we're going to try and hopefully this time beat him. So Lewis is going to be the man to beat for the rest of the season. Also, of course, one of our championship rivals, along with Russell, Leclerc, and Alonso. We also had a sponsorship renewal window for our AI sponsor, which we went ahead and succeeded with. So we've taken care of business. We can now jump into a few more weekend-focused activities, starting out with upgrades. Now we receive a supplier upgrade for the turbo. We also pair that with an exhaust engine power upgrade and also an improvement of the brakes on the brake disc width specifically. So good start to the weekend, triple upgrade to go into this one, and we're going to add another going for a DRS upgrade level 2. So that will arrive after the next race in Vegas. So with that, we simulate ahead and we arrive at the Autódromo José Carlos Pache, or Interlagos as we know it as. And you can see the forecast this weekend actually promises quite a bit of rain for the race and for qualifying. So it seems the sprint portion of the weekend will likely be dry. We don't have the forecast for the sprint qualifying, but I'm going to assume it's dry. Either way, here is the performance chart heading into the weekend. So, Aston Martin back on top, RB just behind, Red Bull moved to mid-table, McLaren slowly dropping down, and we are fourth from bottom, even with that triple upgrade on the car this weekend, which is insane. Last time out, P12, a big hit in the championship after bouncing back again at Kota to get P2. At the minute, we're literally yo-yoing in terms of our form, but to be fair, nobody is really capitalizing in the championship. The gap to Russell is, I believe, 48 points, if my math is correct, or 53 points. I can't quite tell on my preview screen, but give or take 2 race wins, the margin is kind of still being maintained. And with that, we're going to jump into Friday practice and get our car set up for the weekend. You can see in the top left, it's intermediate times, and that means practice actually got underway under wet conditions. So I was just kind of getting a feel, and it felt a bit damp in the first sector. Luckily, by the end of the lap, the track did get a bit better, and we were able to set a respectable time. So yeah, we eventually then kept on going. The sun started to come out, and you can see also the lockup started to come out, and the time has got quicker, and eventually we got our race runs done. So job done, weather improved, and we now have data for race trim.
Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done.
Now with that out of the way, here is how the data looks from that run. So tyre wear good, fuel burn I'd say about average. Generally speaking though, we may review the setup based off the sprint shootout, and then again we might review it based off the race, because again you can change your setup after the sprint portion of the weekend. So adjustments might be made either way. Behrman's P6, that's a quite encouraging sign from our teammate. So the upgrades are working well for him, it seems. Quite a few cars on hards in this session as well. We finished in P16, but yeah, we pick up about 400 R&D points, not a ton. Again, in these sprint weekends, you don't really get much practice running, so you don't really get a chance to pick up those upgrades and those R&D points. So not a lot to really write home about, just a couple of discounts as well, and that is going to be it. So yeah, ready to go. We're going to jump into the sprint shootout and see if we have any pace, if it's legit or if we're in trouble, and hopefully we'll then see how that translates into the actual sprint race itself. So let's get into it.
Atmospheric tracks don't come much better than this. We're in Brazil for qualifying. Let's get some laps at the limit.
Well, there we go, P16. That is a bit of a surprise. Granted, it was a little bit of a scruffy lap. Sector 1 wasn't great. We kind of got AI control over the line when we regained it. We'd burned through more battery than I'd like. And not just that, we was a little bit out of position heading into turn 1, and it was just a bit of a scruffy lap. I didn't quite get on top of it at any point. Lando's on pole, Alonso is 2nd, Hamilton 4th, Russell 8th. So yeah, all of our rivals are up there. Crucially though, you can see we're going to be side by side with Behrman for the race start, and yeah, that's kind of it for our qualifying. Leclerc also up in the top 8, starting from P6 specifically. So that's a qualifying, and yeah, not exactly the sprint that I had in mind. Either way, we finish up, you can see, equal in our rivalry with Hamilton, so it's a neck and neck start so far. But we're now going to get into the main sprint and see if we can hopefully get a few points. Fight back, big work to do to try and get back from P16. So let's see how it goes in the sprint race.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Delighted to say joining us for this intriguing race is Anthony Davidson. So a sprint race today, and that means lights to flag, no stops. And how is that going to affect the driver behind the wheel?
Absolutely. So for today, there's no pit stop, or shouldn't be a pit stop anyway, if things go right, and you can forget about strategy. You're just driving today as fast as you can, make those overtakes if you need to, and that's what a sprint weekend's all about.
Right, here we go. Time for the sprint. Just worth noting, the main championship protagonists all starting in the top 8, so no grid drops. For us, we're going to go with 0.6 extra laps of fuel, and we're also going to run the soft tyres in the sprint, which is going to be likely the case for the AI as well. So, same setup as qualifying, slightly off pace, but we're going to hopefully try and be aggressive and fight back through, and once we get through this, we can change our setup again for the second half of the weekend for the main qualifying and the main race. So let's get into it, and let's try and hopefully do some damage limitation. Right, let's get to it. Behrman right in front of us, of course. I won't try and be too aggressive against him, but obviously against others we need to try and get stuck in. So here we go. Uphill start. That will also be interesting. We are on a flatter part, but here we go. Good lineup. Lights on. Everybody on softs, it seems. Good launch. We get the jump on our teammate as we head into turn 1. Down the inside, Verstappen directly in front. Car a little bit loose over the curb. Verstappen there. I was almost able to get past him. We're going to try our luck down towards turn 4. It's a dead heat, but we're going to get it on the brakes. Verstappen goes back around the outside though, not done yet. We'll take the shorter line as we head into sector 2 up the hill. Going to cover off the inside. Might be able to get a few more through this slow section as we have a look around the outside of signs at the hairpin. Outside again through there, but just no way through. Maybe this one though. Carlos slow on the way in, very conservative, and we go through. That's another one, that's P13. Good start on the soft tyre then. And now we're going to see what the straight line speed really looks like. It looked okay versus Max down towards turn 4. Going to use a little bit of battery to stay ahead of signs. AI flashing.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Sector 1 seems to be our Achilles heel around this particular track, so if we can just do well through the Senna S, we should be fine for the rest of the lap. Here comes Sainz having a look. Late look, they didn't really commit until late, so we turned in and turned across. Should be good to lock in now and hopefully one by one make progress and get past the cars ahead. But let's try and get back within DRS range first and foremost. 106.3 from Alonso. So a couple of tenths slower than that, but not a million miles off. Again, assuming everybody's in the same compound. 106.2, even quicker on that lap. Although to be fair, everyone's going quicker. Pace is very even around here, it's hard to make a difference. What I am concerned about is the right rear, because We, of course, had issues with tyre temp. You can see it's already starting to get hot. We had issues in the race runs in practice, so are we set to struggle in the second half of this sprint? Will the AI even struggle on, overheating tyres? We're about to find out. That's going to be a really important second phase of the race with that in mind. Yellow flag. That's got to be ahead. It is. Russell's out. Championship protagonist. Big moment. That moves us into P12, and that has also split the train. So that could be interesting in terms of the points that are up for offer today. But this could kick off a pretty big battle down towards turn 1. You can see that McLaren at the front of this train is pulling us all along here. So this is it. We're going to get a run on Hulkenberg here. Down the inside. Big send on the brakes. Let go of the brake on the entry and we go through to P11. Still no points, but making progress bit by bit. Got to keep it moving. Come on. Oh, that didn't feel good. Our right rear is really suffering. Luckily, we're not under pressure on the main straight. We've got good straight line speed so we can defend. But my God, that right rear is suffering now. I am struggling on that tyre. Just trying to stick with these guys, and you never know, if they start to battle, which they haven't done yet, we might be able to pick something up and get a point. Good thing is Russell DNF, so we're not going to lose out to him in the championship. First warning. Had to defend from Hulkenberg there. Didn't think he'd go for it, but he did. Caught me by surprise. There might be an opportunity here because Gasly hit the front of the train, but he hasn't been that quick in the middle sector, so Piastri is going to go back through, but we are closer to Ocon than we have been in other laps. Maybe. That's a chance here if I can set something up. If these guys were to battle a bit more as well, that would massively help. I think points are possible if we're smart and we can try and do something here. That right rear is going to be an issue for the rest of the sprint. But look at that, big battling ahead. I was probably going to let Piastri get away, I'll be honest, but it's still a battle for P7.
Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
Yeah. The issue is I can't really get any major traction because of the right rear. I think we're close enough though. I've got a full charge to dump on Ocon here to try and have a go. Everyone's really using their battery quite a bit. Ocon is all over the shop, but we're going to try and keep our nose in. That might have been a bit risky.
Alright, so we've been looking at the damage and we think we should be okay to continue. It's going to cost us a little bit of time, but we're nearly at the end of the race.
I'm getting tag teamed here by the Renaults, but you guys can give me your thoughts. I thought that was a bit scruffy from Ocon at turn 1. I thought maybe should have backed down to turn 2, but I thought my left front was alongside his right rear, but I could have done that at turn 1 if he hadn't been so out of control. I think Pierre's got damage. He's slow, so we should be able to pass him. I don't think he'll have DRS. I think it doesn't. So this will be easy. Like taking candy from a baby. Ocon's having a look on the outside, so we'll box him in. Braking very early here to not overestimate the braking zone and underestimate our damage. Yellow behind.
Flag.
I think Behrman's involved. Unfortunately for us, but we are going to miss out on points, I believe. Unless these two battle through the middle sector. There we go, last corner. We've got plenty of charge to keep Ocon behind. Lando wins the sprint. And yeah, for us, no points, I don't believe. I think top 8 score points, so not ideal. And we go to the main race.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Right, there we go then. Confirmation, Lando wins the sprint. To be fair, Alonso's second, Hamilton third. That's the big issue. Leclerc fourth as well. All of our rivals up there in the top 4. Bar George Russell, of course, who DNF. So Tsunoda, Piastri, Stroll, Albon are your point scorers. We just miss out in P9. And then, yeah, further down, confirmation, Russell, DNFs, Behrman caught up in that T1 incident. And that's going to be a lot for the sprint. So we're now going to jump into the main qualifying. I might make a setup tweak to try and hopefully aid that rear tyre temp issue. And then we'll move into the main event.
Atmospheric tracks don't come much better than this. We're in Brazil for qualifying. Let's get some laps at the limit.
Oh yes, what a lap. We just got it on the line. It must have been milliseconds because we did not get it until the last second. And it's 0.03, literal a whisker over Lando to get pole. Lando of course got P1 in the sprint, almost went back to back, but we get the job done. And also critically, we out-qualify Hamilton, we out-qualify Alonso, we out-qualify Russell, we out-qualify Leclerc, who are all on the grid in literal a sequence of positions from P3, 4, 5, 6, all in a line. So huge qualifying result. Behrman only gets P19, but again, we clutch up in the wet conditions like we tend to do. And yeah, what a performance, what a lap. We needed that and we delivered. So yeah, job done. We are going to recover a little bit in our rivalry versus Hamilton. And yeah, we're now going to jump into the main race where of course we have more rain forecast. So we'll see how that affects things. Either way, sprint done, qualifying done. We start on pole, but now it's time for the main event.
Welcome to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner, and just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7 mile circuit with 9 left turns and 6 right turns for a total of 15 corners. It's a wet one today as well, so grip and visibility will be at a premium, and the drivers will need to be careful coming up the hill in Sector 3, the scene of many an accident over the years. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Martinez lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Albon, Perez, Zhou, Bottas, Behrman, Teo Porcher, Gasly, Sargent, Hauger, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Now here we go, time for the main event. Pole position after that insane qualifying lap. But we have a lot more rain, a lot more water in this one. Now the big thing to note is when we have heavy rain, intermediates tend to work well. The question is when, because we have rain icons for the entirety of this race. In principle, we're not going to take any big risks. We're going to go for the wets to start out, and then we'll make a change. Fuel, 0.8, our traditional extra fuel amount. Usually, the AI can be a bit slow and a bit, bad at making decisions in these races. So we're going to have plenty of time, I think, to make the right call and hopefully win the race. And my main concern really here today is reliability. Anyway, wets to start. Inters will be the next tyre more than likely, and we'll see how the race evolves. More than likely when a dry line starts to appear, we'll switch to Inters, and that will be our race. So let's get into it, and let's try and hopefully get some big points, because now we really need them. Now, one thing to note is that the Mercedes cars are out of position. Hamilton, last place. Now, one thing to note is the Mercedes cars are out of position. Russell starts last, P22. Hamilton, P11. So they're both under grid pens, which is going to be huge for the championship. So Alonso becomes our de facto rival. With that in mind, here we go. Let's line her up and let's get to it. Right, lights on at Brazil. Huge race. Lights out and away we go. And it's a brilliant start. Really good start. Don't even have to defend turn 1. We can just take the normal line through the corner right away. Sainz up to second. Now Norris back into second. It's all kicking off behind, but Alonso's down to 5th. And that's all we need to care about. Leclerc P4 battling with him right now. So those two duking it out. The two championship rivals of ours. Norris and Sainz in between. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. So we're going to crack on and get settled into this one and see what our pace is like. 36 laps of heavy rain racing. Now, as I mentioned, the forecast says heavy rain, but it's likely we can switch it to an inter. But first off, we need to look out for a dry line. When that happens, that's when we can make the switch. For the time being, we're going to crack on with these full wets and try to get comfortable and open a gap. Norris is right there. Good exit out of turn 2. Just going to force him onto the outside there and just kind of mark him. Good defending. Pace doesn't feel too good at the minute. We are massively under pressure from everyone behind. Usually I'm pretty decent in the wet, but specifically intermediates in heavy rain, I'm not so good on these tyres. And you can see the pace from the cars behind kind of confirms that. So we're up against it at the minute. We just have to kind of nerf and weather the storm this initial phase, and hopefully...
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
And hopefully the race will come to us, but for the time being, we are just managing and defending and marking our opponents. The AI are so good on traction. So good. I feel like I'm particularly struggling today around here in general, so there is that. But yeah, right now we are driving defensively. There's no two ways about it. Luckily no DRS, so we're not under immediate pressure, but a mistake could prove costly here, so we've got to try and keep the car upright and make no mistakes. That's a bit more like it. That was a really good lap though, and I was only just quicker than everybody else. That's quite good. Got a little bit of separation into the 117s. Gap at half a second to Norris. That's a bit more encouraging. Let's try and keep this rolling for the time being. Norris responds. Very close. Very closely matched around it.
Okay, heavy rain will be staying with us for a while now. At least a 20-minute window of heavy rain.
Yep, fine. Dry line is starting to appear, or drier line anyways. We'll bear that in mind. I think at the moment there's no need to box early for the inter. If we're controlling first place, we can, still go for the inter, but basically stick to our strategy and our original pit stop lap, which is around lap 17, 18 I think. So that can be the plan. I mean, yeah, we don't have to basically box early for the sake of it if we're under no pressure to recover or fix our race. I will say the field is starting to spread. We are stretching everyone a little bit now. There's a gap behind Alonso to Piastri. So we are setting a decent pace. Even though you can see others can occasionally go quicker. But we are just forcing the field to run at a strong pace all the time.
Okay, clear.
Oh, someone's gone. Mechanical or mistake? I think it's a mistake, not a mechanical. No more green or yellow flags. Norris is actually quite close here.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Luckily we've got plenty of battery to defend and keep him behind for the time being. But now Signs go quickest. Got another yellow. Sergeant out of the race. Looks like that's not going to trigger anything, so we're going to continue on our way here. Lando not quite close enough to get a move done. This was a big lap, trying to again see how fast I can really go and extend my margin. The track is also noticeably more dry, so we are heading towards an inter. At least for me, I know the AI are likely going to stay on the wet, but we can probably go for the inter at the stop, and that will be a defining point of the race, I think, and we can hopefully have a smoother, more comfortable second stint.
It's still not a perfect situation, but I don't think we've got cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
I disagree. I think it's time for inters. There we go. Getting a bit confident now with the back end. Not bad. We'll be in next lap, so we're still squeezing out some pace out of these tyres. Great in lap, great middle sector. Drifting.
Okay, pit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
Pushing the car as much as possible. We're going to switch to inters, and I think this is the right call to make. So here we go. Don't speed, easy does it on the pit entry. Nice, tidy. Sign stays out. Norris, Leclerc, Alonso in, as you would expect. Piastri also goes long. Smooth stop, hopefully no delays. Last pit box is going to help us out massively with that. On our marks. 2.2, give it to me. Good. Onto the medium. Not the medium, intermediate. There we go.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
The intermediate on. Let's rejoin. P5 looks like on track, and we're going to now see how this tyre holds up. But Gasly's going to be behind us. Leclerc's actually the next car, so it seems Lando either had a slow stop or got held and has lost track position. So we've got a chance now in this middle sector with Leclerc stuck behind Gasly to try and open a gap. So let's get to work straight away. This tyre feels absolutely fine. Obviously we have to account for tyre freshness as well, so you know, there could be that. It's hard to tell if this is the right compound or just, you know, a fresh tyre doing its work. But at the minute, it feels like this can work and it feels good to me. And even with a scruffy middle, that's a pretty definitive sign that this was the right choice. Everybody else will now box, thus releasing us into the net race lead. Back into P1. Gap to Leclerc, 2.5. Right, let's get stuck in, shall we? And let's make this tyre work.
Tyre condition still looking good. Right, Ollie's coming in for his stop.
Right then, first lap time references. Here we go. Over the line. 1:16.2, nearly a second quicker than our previous fastest, and we do not get it taken away, so it seems like we are the fastest man on track on the right tyre.
These conditions don't look like they're shifting. We're predicting at least 20 minutes of heavy rainfall.
That's fine by me, mate, because clearly this is the right call, so we'll just stick to it and keep doing our thing. Back to back. And look at that gap to Leclerc. It's ballooning, it's growing, this is good. The only concern I have is fuel. We are burning out, so I'm going to keep pushing flat out to build a gap. And then hopefully, once we hit zero, we'll try and start to manage. And at that point, I'm guessing the lap times will level off. If not, maybe even concede some time, but, you know, controlled time loss. It feels like every couple of laps, the track gets slightly better, slightly quicker, and we're able to turn it up each time a little bit more.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good. Okay, some information on Norris. They seem to have an issue.
Not ideal. That's going to probably give Alonso a couple of extra points in the championship fight. But that's, yeah, not the worst case scenario. I've been basically just managing my fuel for the last few laps so that we can make it. So we're kind of cruising now to bring this one home. All I'll say is this: I've had to record this race twice. My game crashed before on the podium, and I won the race, executing the exact same strategy. Good start. Great traction.
Okay, caution, caution. Virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta on your dash.
Lance Stroll disqualified. We are going to box for the Inter and use this VSE to get this tyre change done. Stroll disqualified. Sargent out of the race. We're going to rejoin the back of the pack, but on a fresh intermediate. AI into the pit lane. Here we go. We go purple. All we have to do now is manage for the remaining 16 laps of this race. Great race, super long race, dragged on, but job done. Great strat, unlike last time, and we get the win.
Come on! Now we can fight.
A show-stopping performance from the three drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
So I've had to do it again, plus the sprint. I must have done almost 100 laps of Brazil today, so all I ask is a like if you enjoyed the video. But yeah, here we go. Final corner, job done, professional performance, statement in the championship. Alonso only P4, Leclerc though does get P2, but crucially the Mercs take a massive blow, and that is a huge win.
Come on! Now we can fight. Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
A great race then, very much as we've come to expect, and a fantastic victory here at Interlagos.
A great display of dominance today by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
A show-stopping performance from the three drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
Come on! Now we can fight.
I swear that better be the last of
Ah,
it.
fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
Right, I've had to recall that again. Genuinely, I have calculated it. I've done a sprint, which is 12 laps. I've done 2 full 50% races, which is 36 each. And I had to re-record. Luckily, a mid-session saved, but I still had to do 15 more laps on that last attempt. So I've done 99 laps, call it 100, for that particular race, that video. So yeah, I would greatly appreciate a like. I am extremely frustrated right now because I lost all the replay cameras for this race. And yeah, a very long, painful recording session. Anyway, for the weekend, we are the highest scorer. We outscore Leclerc by 3, Alonso by 6, and then we outscore the Mercs by a substantial amount. George Russell scores 0 points this weekend. So that is huge because now, if we delve into the standings, we have a comfortable lead still over our rivals. It hasn't gone massively huge, but we're still keeping that 2 race win margin, which has been the case for so long now. So yeah, after this, guys, 3 rounds to go. Vegas, Qatar, which is a sprint, Abu Dhabi. We are getting very close. In the constructors, yeah, you can see, I think it's going to be P4. I don't think we can do anything. Mercedes lose out to Ferrari. It could potentially be game on now because of that. Ferrari have a chance to close the gap even more. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed. We should hit all of our goals post-race and also take an early lead in our new rivalry versus Hamilton, of course. And yeah, a weekend which got off to a bit of a rough start, ended up working out okay. But I'm not going to lie, I'm extremely frustrated, burnt out, and I'm glad to see the back of that race. I don't know why it kept on crashing at the podium, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, cheers for watching. Massively appreciate it. Like, subscribe. As always, a big shout out to the members of the channel. Check out the 2 videos. You guys know the drill by now, and I'll see you next time. Take care, and let's go back from me. Ciao.